Okay, so what you can see on Watson at the moment is his hair at the top is not actually long enough for me to do a demo. So what we're going to demo is how to do the corners of his eyes. Because if you see, let's see if I can get him to look at you. Okay, let me get some peanut butter. This is one of the essentials. If I hold it up there, can you see that his hair is in his eye? So the hair kind of here around his nose going up, you can see that it's going into his eyes there. And then also bits of his muzzle where that stick up, that kind of goes into his eyes. And then there's all this bit in the middle here, which this is called the stop. So I'm going to deal with that today, and then I'm going to wait for the top of his hair to grow out and then maybe show you that at another time. I will give you an example today of how you do it at the end, just in case I don't manage to let it grow out, because I try and keep it quite short on him. And I'll show you also how to trim this little bit of the muzzle here. So what else I've got is a comb. This is just a Pets at Home metal comb. Then I've got two kind of clippers. This first one is an Andis corded clipper, so it's got a lead. Sorry about that not focusing 100%. And on here I've got a toe blade. It's called a toe blade, and it's a 5/8 blade to try and do the middle of his head, of his stop. But I sometimes use this, but this one actually makes it a bit shorter. This is a Wahl Bravmini, and it's absolutely brilliant. Great for scooping out in between the pores. And then finally, I have got, these are the most important bit, these thinners. These ones are expensive ones, so I don't imagine you'll want to buy these. If you really want to invest, I would say buy these. They were about 60, 70 pounds, something like that, maybe a bit less, but I will link to some for you that are good thinners, because thinners are the way to go. Watson's actually pretty good at staying still, but the way that you have to hold them, and I used to hate this when I was watching videos on the internet, etc., is you have to hold them here underneath to stop them moving. And I don't like doing it, but at the same time I don't want to injure him. So if I'm holding him here and I'm cutting near his eyes like that, it means he's not going to move, and I'm not going to worry about, you know, taking his eye out or getting some skin that I shouldn't or something like that. So that's the way to do it. So what I'm going to do is just comb here. I'm just going to comb it all forward and see what's sticking into his eyes. And I think it's actually only on one side Watson's got some stuff going into his eyes. So I'm going to hold him here. What you will see is I'm going to put the scissors like this. Now you need to make sure that you're right in the corner of his eye, but that you're not got any skin, obviously. You want to get as close as you can to his eye, but not taking any skin off. So I've just put my finger by the inner part of his eye, and I'm pulling the hair forward, or pulling it up, so that I don't end up getting the inner corner of his eye. Look at him, he's so good, he's closing his eyes for me. And then I'm just going to get that hair in there. And if in doubt, just don't go too close. And then you just keep on cutting. So you're cutting at an angle. Just keep on snipping. And there, it's cleared that from his eyes. What a good boy, what a good boy you are. You're such a good boy, aren't you? Should we have another little go? Another little go, what a good boy. Now, I'm hoping that I'm not going to be in the way of this. I'm just going back in and snipping off the ends where I can see there's still some to go. What I should have done is take a picture of you before, shouldn't I? So we're going to do the other corner now, aren't we? We're going to do this corner. Okay. See how he's putting his head up because he doesn't want it to be done. So this is where I need to hold him here. And it normally they won't struggle, and it doesn't look the nicest, but not to get your beautiful eyelashes in the way. There we go. You can actually come downwards on the eye. So just to get that corner, it is actually quite difficult to do both sides the same way. So I can see here that the line of his muzzle kind of goes like that and like that, the top part of his muzzle, and there's a bit sticking out over the top. So I'm going to cut that bit off with the thinners in the same kind of way. And the thinners just mean that it doesn't look, it's not a blunt edge. Okay, what are we going to do now? We're going to do this top muzzle. So what you do with this is just brush it all forward. And then you want to take about that much, so maybe an inch either side, like this. I know, darling. He's going to pull at this because he doesn't like his muzzle being done at all, which is why he's yawning. Yawning is when they're uncomfortable and when they're licking their lips. I know, darling, we're nearly done, nearly. Keep still for mummy. So I'm just going to get this and pull it up and then use those thinners to cut the end. Just keep on going over and over and over until you've got it. There we go. So this is where I need to hold him here because, like I said, he really doesn't like it. So you pull it all forward. And like I said, most dogs will have longer muzzles than Watson simply because I cut it quite regularly. I like to keep it quite short. There's actually molting there, which is unlike you. So what I'm going to do is pull it right the way forward, like that, and then cut around in a sort of semicircle. Again with the thinners. And then upwards. So you're just taking the ends off. And then when you brush that back, it will be kind of like the tapered effect. Let's start on this side. I'm trying to do it in such a way that I'm also able to show you guys. I know, darling, nearly. Sorry about this stupid nearly. That's what we say to them when we're nearly finished anything or nearly somewhere. There we go, good boy. And then I'm just cutting it backwards. So you can see it's going in a nice sort of semicircle. The next thing we're going to do is look at getting this bit in the middle a bit shorter. So I'm actually going to try for the first time the toe blade that I mentioned. I'll link everything I use, and this is the Andis, what is it, a clipper. And I start, let's see, I normally start just above, no, just below the eye line. So let's see, can you see where his hair gets light? I start about there and I'm only going up to about there. I just clear the area around his eyes and it looks makes his face look much more open, but this makes it quite short. So we're going to try it with this. Let's see. Is it a good boy? There's a good boy. Yeah, this is much better. That's much better, isn't it? Let's have a look. You can already see it's starting to open up his face a lot. You're actually better to do this after a walk, whereas I'm going out in a little while for a walk with him. He has had two long walks today, but Watson is a ball of energy. So do it if possible when they are tired, because then they won't be as wriggly. You won't be as wriggly then, huh? So you don't want too blunt a line here. So when you're doing it with the clipper, don't press too hard. Okay, so I'm going to hold him underneath to make sure that it doesn't move. I'm just pushing lightly in and then I'll take that hair away. There we go. That's better. Good boy, what a good boy. And I'm just going to go slightly near his eye, like ever so slightly, because obviously you don't want to get anywhere too close to their eyeball. You look at my fingers as I go past, but hopefully you can see it's starting to open up. There we go. Oh, what a good boy. There's a good boy. That's a good boy. What a clever boy. So if you don't have a clipper for this part, then you can just use these, but you'd need to pull it up, clip a little bit, pull it up, clip a little bit. It would just take a bit longer, but you could get the same effect. You'd need to start here and just clip and carry on. So I think I'm going to put another little layer in there. So we'll just take a little bit of this, like this. Need to comb it up, don't we? Like as if we're putting your muzzle in a ponytail. I know you don't like it, darling. I know. We're nearly done. We're nearly done. Just want to put a bit more shape in the muzzle. So I know. Just do the very ends of this. There we go. What a good boy. Okay, the next thing you can do is just trim their eyelashes. So it's just a case of trimming off the ends. That will help things a lot because they've often got big eyelashes. And it's up to you how much you want to cut them, because some people like to leave the eyelashes quite long. Here he's got, seems to have a set of bottom lashes that are actually sticking up. The last thing I'm going to do is show you what I would do with all this hair, but you can see that I've actually cut it. Most of you will be doing that and it will be down here. So all you do is brush it forward. This is the really important bit. You want to brush it forward. And then when you're doing this, yours will probably be, you know, over their eyes. You want to start at the bottom here. Let's see this in my hands properly. And go in an arch like this. So you're painting an arch over their face. And I know it might sound like it's going to look silly, but once you brush it back, it's fine. So you would snip here like this. And then go in an arch around. And then once you let go, what you've got is a nice open face, hopefully. Let's have a look. Can I have a look up here? See if you look open? Look at this. Even looking upwards, you can see that there's less hair on the muzzle, so that's not interrupting too much. It still is a bit at the front, actually. You see there where he's looking up, you can see that bit of his muzzle is getting in the way, so good boy. There you go. So you could actually trim that if you wanted to be shorter. Let's see how much is getting in the way. It's only because I've brushed it up, isn't it? Let's have a look. So when he's looking up, you could always use safety scissors around the face or thinners, but you could just snip across the top just lightly, so that when he's looking up, it's not going to be in his way. There's a good boy. What a good boy. So I am actually going to trim this a little bit because it's got a little bit long, hasn't it? There. See, there's a bit there that's long. So I'm going to get these thinners. Just want to keep on bringing it forward and chopping any excess. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. There we go. Just cutting into the corner of his eyebrows there. There we go. I think that's you all done. Let's have a look. What's the neck of me? You ready? Good boy. Good boy. Okay, so this is the finished look. So hopefully you can see that there's a little bit more space in his eyes. You could still take off some of this heaviness if it comes forward too much around here with those thinners. Just bring everything forward, and anything you can see that comes forward, you can kind of cut out with these thinners, and it doesn't look too choppy or anything. Now he's kind of closing his eyes there, but what's this? You can see that his face there looks a lot more open, hopefully. So thank you very much to our Watson little model, and I hope that that was helpful.